Welcome to my questionnaires so you can improve your relationship with your potential future spouse. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the first questionnaire on date one, dreams and expectations. The author writes in a quote, "Thank heavens we had the good sense to realize that love alone would not ensure a successful marriage. Before you, before you meet and discuss your answers, take 30 minutes to fill out the first three questionnaires, and then talk during a 2-hour date. I'll probably just be showing my answers as part of the process. As an example, in your individual homes, write your reactions of this night and in the journal provided at the end of this book. Instructions. It is very important that you complete the questionnaires prior to seeing each other. This session will not have the same effectiveness if you get together and each take turn answering the questions. Why? Hearing the other person's dreams may alter your answers. You want your fiancé or fiancée to know the real you. Try to make the date relevant to the subject to be discussed. Use your imagination. Here's one suggestion. Plan a romantic date under the stars. If you live in a warm weather area, find a picturesque location overlooking the city, overlooking the ocean, or simply tucked away in a grove of trees. It should be a location that inspires dreams. Take along a blanket to spread on the ground, a bottle of sparkling cider, 2 goblets, and both sets of previously filled out questionnaires of number 1, number 2, and number 3. If you live in a cold climate, find an enclosed lookout, like a restaurant looking over the city, or a place to park and look at the stars. Questionnaire number 1. On date number 1. What are your dreams about your future marriage? There's 12 or more dreams you have about your future marriage. Each of you should make a separate list. Examples: annual honeymoon, 3 children, a dog, weekly date, always being greeted with a hug and kiss, sex every night, no yelling, only soft and kind words spoken to each other, fancy cars, big home, etc. On your date, discuss whether each of you will try to make the other one's dreams come true by talking about how each will help the other. Are some of the dreams unacceptable to either of you? Why or why not? Will this be a problem in the future? Some of my dreams would be as many children as possible. We would live in mansions. Only soft and kind words spoken to each other. Having sex every night. What are your expectations for the role your spouse should play? There's 12 or more specific expectations you have for the roles of your spouse in your future marriage. Examples would be like your wife cooks a nightly meal, wife irons husband's shirts and washes his clothes, husband is always on time for dinner each night, the husband does repairs in the house like fixing leaky faucets, the husband takes a leadership role spiritually in the home, etc. On your day, read the list to each other and discuss what realistic and what each of you can or cannot do to fulfill these expectations. Identify any problem areas and discuss how you would solve these issues before marriage. If there are obviously issue differences, can you solve them together? Is your companion willing to compromise? If not, can you accept his or her decision? I would take a leadership role in spiritually for the family. It's about the only specific expectation for myself as a spouse. I don't have much expectations for my future spouse. She doesn't have to do my laundry, I'll do my own laundry, for example. Questionnaire number 3. From the lofty to the mundane. These questions may sound trivial, but after the wedding, these issues may cause great pain unless you resolve them now. What are your expectations for the holidays, vacations, and gift giving? How will you handle holidays? Where will you be going for Christmas or Thanksgiving? Or Hanukkah? How will you spend them with his or her parents? Will you alternate years, going to his parents' home one year and then hers the next? I don't mind doing that. What are your family traditions for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Hanukkah, and birthdays that are important to you and you want to keep in your marriage? I like having a big dinner. Are any of your holiday plans based on obligation to your friends or family? If so, what do you really want to do? On your date, discuss whether you feel the same as your partner. If not, what can you do to resolve these issues? I have no obligation to friends or family. What are your expectations for gifts, anniversaries, Christmas, etc.? I'm low maintenance. I don't have any expectations for gifts. For whom should you buy presents besides each other on holidays? What are your expectations for gift exchanges? Do you believe in going to debt to buy gifts? I don't believe in going to debt at all. Do you prefer gifts to be a total surprise? They don't have to be a surprise. For me. Or do you prefer to know about them? Maybe even pick one out and have it given to you as a surprise when you aren't expecting it. That sounds fun too. What if your spouse gives you a present that you don't really like? Should you pretend to like it? Please be honest. I'll try again to get you a nice present. That's what I would say for my spouse. What about cost issues? If the gift was expensive, write down what you would like your future spouse to do if he or she does not like a gift you gave to him or her. Do you plan on taking separate vacations away from your future husband or wife? On your date, discuss whether you both feel the same about this issue. If not, how can you compromise? I think um, I don't think we should take vacations away from each other. I like to be on vacation with my spouse. Do you want to take vacations with other couples? Do you want to take an annual honeymoon with your spouse alone? On your date, discuss whether you both agree or disagree on your vacations. I wouldn't mind going on vacation annually with my spouse. Do you want to have annual family vacations after you have children? What kind? Concepts to consider. Have you discussed, compromised, and/or accepted each other's expectations? Do you agree to make each other's dreams come true? Or do you want totally different lifestyles? Are your dreams so different that you will set each other up for disappointment and unhappiness? I had the privilege of meeting a couple that had been married for 30 years. They were still deeply in love with each other. I asked them what the secret to their success was. The woman said that it was all in the selection process. In fact, she had almost married another man. I was surprised and asked her what made her change her mind. She revealed readily the following story. Marta had fallen in love with Phil during her freshman year of college, and they had continued to date each other for 4 years. Upon graduation, they accepted job offers in different areas of the country, he in Alaska and she in Chicago. Only after a month of separation, they missed each other dreadfully, so they scheduled a romantic vacation for September. It was a bicycle tour of France. At the end of the trip, Phil proposed marriage and she agreed. They were deeply in love, and the romantic bicycle trip convinced them they were both meant for each other. After he returned to his job in Alaska, she returned to her job in Chicago. They began to communicate via phone and mail. Within 1 month, they discovered that their dreams, expectations of marriage, and life goals were vastly different. She wanted to stay and live in the big city. He wanted to live back in the woods of Alaska. She wanted to attend plays, the ballet, and sophisticated parties. He wanted to hunt, fish, and watch TV at home in the evening. She wanted to plan charity events and write poetry. His idea of a dream home was a log cabin in the woods. Her idea of a dream home was a penthouse in the city. She tried a week in Alaska and he tried a week in Chicago. Neither wanted the same things in marriage. She cried and cried. After all, not only was she in love with Phil, but she had invested 4 years of her life dating him. What gave you the courage to call off the engagement? Asked Marta. I realized that expectations and dreams of marriage were so different. I knew that we would both be frustrated in marriage and eventually end in divorce. He agreed. A year later, he met a wonderful girl in Alaska, a forestry ranger who loved to hunt and fish. I married a young aspiring lawyer who loved to attend the theater. Today, Phil is still married and so am I. We still send cards at Christmas. We are so thankful that we didn't make a mistake of marrying each other. It didn't mean that we weren't terrific partners, just not for each other. Thank heavens we both had the good sense to realize that love alone would not make a good marriage. Ponder. Are you right for each other? Are your dreams and expectations the same? Are your differences minor? Are you both willing to compromise? If not, think about the future. What is the best solution? What is right for each of you?